What's up, you guys? It is Bob. It's April 15th, and I got a whole lot of updates for you guys on the EIDL grants and loans, the PPP, stimulus checks, and unemployment. So I've been talking to a lot of my banker buddies, listening to CPAs, and listening to a lot of the local heads of especially labor to find the trends on data of what's going on and the stuff that's just harder to Google. The major theme here overall with everything that's notable is that there actually is progress across the board in all of these programs, which is really good. But there is a few key things to know about each one to make sure that you stay on top of the program of any of them or all of them that you are a part of, because you actually can get stuck behind or not get the full amount that is like advertised, like the $10,000 amount, getting the full 1,200. Getting it on time, things like this. In order to talk to all these people and get all this information together, it takes a lot of time for me, so I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It's really the main way I'm getting paid during the quarantine. And also, if you like this content, if you want to keep hearing about it, please subscribe. I'm a small little channel, so literally every subscriber means way more to me than one of those people that has bajillions of subscribers. So let's just dive into it. First off is the stimulus checks. Okay, it's April 15th again, and let's just start with the good news. Normally taxes is due today, and instead these stimulus checks are slated to come out today in mass. So that's really great that that's actually going on. It's going to 80 million people right now who have it set up with their direct deposits. The people who have the paper check, the other 20 million people will be expecting to get those in May. And you get the added bonus with the paper check version because Donald Trump will be posted on the Memo line. So I hope that gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling. If you don't know what's going on with your stimulus check, the tool that I referenced in my last video is now up for anyone who filed in 2018 or 2019. The link is below. Here, with this button, with this link, you will be able to see your actual status of what's going on with your stimulus check and whether or not your information is correct, and you should actually be able to fix that information if it isn't. So that's all really big stuff. The other thing to note is that these sites are crashing like crazy because there's just so many people involved. At like 80 million plus another 20, that's a lot of people. So consider doing this at off hours, which is between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. so you don't crash the site. States are working to add unemployment to independent contractors. A lot of you guys, I'm one of them myself. We haven't been seeing a whole lot of progress on this because they got to make new forms and everything. Some states are actually finally moving ahead with this, especially Michigan, which has started this whole program, and they actually brought up their own site as well, and that crashed as well. So again, try the off hours once your state gets it ready to go. The last thing to note about the stimulus check that's been made more clear is child support. It'll eventually go to the person who is taking care of the child if the other person is in fact behind on their child support payments. Just wanted to put that out there. Now to the EIDL grants and loans. Over 3 million applications have been filed according to the SBA, and in a letter published on April 10th, 15 lawmakers are actually angry at the SBA for not awarding grants consistent with the congressional intent. Because when I was reading the stimulus bill, it was looking like, well, you're basically going to get $10,000. And that's not what's going on. They're actually making it to where it's $1,000 an employee. But I still want to be fair to the SBA on this because, it was a little bit vague. And in reality, they just weren't given enough money to do this. So how can you get mad at them for trying to still distribute something to everyone and not the full 10,000 amount? They're just kind of like, well, they don't have enough money, so they're not trying to just give it to this many people. They're trying to give a bit to everyone, and they're trying to base it off need, which is the number of employees you have. It's not perfect. I actually don't love that, but it's something. It's simple and it makes it quick because you can just put the number of employees you have on it. But some members of Congress are actually now pushing to add another $15 billion in grants and $50 billion in EIDL loans. So we'll be looking for updates on that because that might make it to where maybe we will end up getting the $10,000 grant, right? And also as a note, one YouTuber, I believe it's Charlie Chang, said he followed the instructions when he got the EIDL loan, because they are emailing people. And he filled out all the information, but it reset him. So there's just glitches everywhere in all of this stuff. And so it reset him. And so if you're going through this process with your EIDL loan, make sure that you check up on it maybe once a day, at least, on the off hours, to make sure that there's no resets or any bugs, because you might think, okay, I filled it out, we're good to go. And then it just resets you, and you plan for that in your business, and that would be terrible. And I don't want that to happen to any of you guys. But if you have gotten your EIDL, also just let us know in the comments what's going on with you, to see if there's any more bugs. I got literally 100 comments on my last video, just all about EIDL questions and who's gotten close and who's going on with what. And I found that to be actually really helpful to some people. So comments below, it's really helpful. It really is, because finding bugs isn't easy. You can't Google where are the bugs in real time. It's got to be anecdotal. Okay, PPP. So $349 billion was allocated to this, as you know, and $220 billion has already been approved, but not distributed yet. So if you haven't done the PPP yet, you need to get this going. This is happening really fast. This is not something to be slow about. And another thing about the PPP is how much you get is going to be based off of your net income, not your gross. A lot of CPAs I was talking to through their experience, thought it would be gross, but it is based off your net income. And the way you're going to be showing this is on a Schedule C, okay? And it needs to be inclusive of your 2019 tax return. You can't get away with a 2018 tax return when it comes to this loan. Okay, so make sure you're up to date on that. Talk to your peeps, talk to your CPA, talk to your wife if she's the one filing it, or you, or just get ahead of it. Another thing on the PPP is if your bank is kind of being a butthead and doesn't want to give you a PPP loan, do note that there are a lot of others that will give you this loan even if you don't have a bank account set up with them. Okay, I'm actually including a link at the bottom for this. I actually am including another link for the EIDL and the stimulus check. So just check check the description below. This is the most helpful links I've been able to find where you actually try to do stuff. So check there, because a lot of local banks are actually processing the PPP loans more quickly. One of my companies is at Wells Fargo, and let me tell you, it's not the fastest. They had a cap, but then I got done, but now they're doing it now. So you might want to go with the small guys on this. So on taxes, your tax return and tax balance are now due on July 15th now. And you can request an extension all the way to October 15th, and this request for extension is due on July 15th. It's not due today. I think there was a little bit of confusion on that. Okay, now unemployment. Unemployment is being processed at a state level, so it's hard to give real, here's what's going on. But between the states I did look at, like Connecticut, Nevada, New Jersey, and a few others, it's looking like around half of the claims have been processed so far. Many states have greatly increased their capacity to process the claims, and many are doing the same basic things. And the general thing that they're all doing is they're trying to automate their systems from this 40-year-old COBOL system, which is just I don't know why we're on a 40-year-old COBOL system. They've also quadrupled their staff in a lot of cases, but sometimes it's hard to get the COBOL to work because people don't know how to use it, so they're trying to rehire people who used to do it. But even so, it is actually working at the state level. Connecticut specifically has been able to process 10 times the amount of claims that they regularly do. So really good on them. My heart goes out to those people, because you got to realize they have to go into the office to process these things. You can't really do that stuff as remotely, I believe. A lot of them actually have to go in, and they are, they're in danger of COVID just like everyone else. So I just wish that we didn't have this COBOL system as much. But they are automating things a lot. They're starting to send out automated emails, and if you do apply, because it's going all automated as much as they can, they're trying to, quote, the Connecticut guy said, quote, force everything into the automated system. You really need to make sure that your stuff is right. You don't want to type in extra things. You don't want to have periods where they shouldn't be and stuff, because it is a robot looking at it. There's not a human going, oh, that's $10,000, not 10, and then you put a period and then 3 zeros, and it's like, oh, $10. Like, just make sure that that's there, because the common sense with the robots is still not quite as good. Okay, guys. Those are the major updates for April 15th. I hope that was helpful. Please consider subscribing. I'm making stuff as much as I can, 2-3 times a week. And also hit this with a like. I really appreciate it. And good luck out there, guys. Have a good one. Bye.